Hey everyone, welcome back. So today's Friday. Marathon provided their February production updates. So we'll take a look at the numbers there. It was actually a pretty bad month for them, so we'll take a look at it and see what actually caused it. Digihost also provided their numbers, not numbers, their at the market offering. So the stock didn't like it today, so the stock was down quite a bit. We'll take a look at that as well. So we'll look at the miners, we'll look at Bitcoin. We'll also look at why Bitcoin is down in the last couple of days. Obviously, there's some tension in the world. Oil prices are going up, markets are down. Fed is increasing rates, so that's all contributing to it. So let's get into it. And as always, not financial advice. Do your own research and everything. You know the drill here. I'm invested in the following companies and coins. So let's take a look at the miners here today. So Annie, which is Sphere 3D, was down. Well, actually was up. Wow. So it was actually up 5.97% on the day to $2.13. Argo was down 5.85% to 77 cents. I mean, we can see the market's just been all down today. Bitfarms was down 8% today to 3.44, so $3.44. Cleanspark was down 7.44% to $9.33. Core Scientific was down 7.45 to $6.46. It's been having a rough couple of days here. Digihost was down 16.45%. So obviously they reported the at the market offering at the beginning of the morning, right around 6 o'clock, I think it was released. And it obviously just fell like a sinking rock in water. And then we got DMG. DMG was basically neutral today. Hive was down 5.32% to $1.78. Hut 8 was down 6.5% to $5.32. Iris Energy was down 2.04% to $14.42. This has been kind of trading flat, trading sideways. Looks like we'll see if we can get any action on it, but flat's better than nothing. Marathon is down today 7.46% to $22.82. We'll take a look at their numbers in a little bit. Mawson was down 2.91% to $3.34, and Riot was down 6.57% to $14.92. Obviously, the miners follow the price action of Bitcoin. Bitcoin was down today, so let's take a look at it. We had a pretty rough day today. We dropped, Bitcoin's right now at 38,870 roughly. We dropped about, to the low, almost 10% drop on the day today on Bitcoin. So a pretty bad day in Bitcoin. If we look at the daily, we're looking at the daily chart right now, but let's take a look at the 1 hour chart. And we can see that we did try to get support here at the 40,700 mark roughly. Couldn't hold on to it and we fell below it today. We obviously touched our resistance here back on, let me see if we can see this. It's going to give me the ad. This was back on March 2nd. We touched it here briefly for our resistance and we couldn't hold it, obviously, or go above it, and we've been falling down ever since. Then we are way oversold right now in the RSI. We are at 17.4 roughly. Last time we were this low, we were back right around, looks like here, or maybe even here. So let's take this one here, and we were at, 34,000 or so. So in a way, it's kind of good. But if we look back a little bit further here to this line here, we were at right around 38,000, so pretty close to where we are right now, which leads me to think that we may have another rally going up here in the coming days, weeks. We'll see how this plays out. But yeah, we're way oversold on the 1 hour chart. On the 4 hour chart, we are also getting into the oversold territory as well. And the last time we were right around here, we were here, which was right around 34,000. So obviously we're oversold, in my opinion. We'll see how this plays out going forward. Let's take a look at Ethereum really quick. Ethereum obviously following with Bitcoin. On the 4 hour chart, it's looking like it's almost oversold here. It's just barely trading above the 30 point mark on the RSI. And let's take a look at the 1 hour chart. 1 hour chart also showing that it's oversold right now. So we'll see if, obviously we had the Bitcoin expiry today on the options. So that happened. So that probably was one of the attributing factors to Bitcoin going down. But let's take a look at what others are saying about it. And this is a story from CoinDesk. So Bitcoin rally evaporates as price tumbles below 40K Friday afternoon. So Bitcoin BTC largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization was changing hands at 39,300 at press time, dropping below 40,000 for the first time since Monday as stocks continued to sell off over the war in Ukraine. So it's been quite a round trip for Bitcoin this week, with the bulls encouraged by a dramatic move higher from midday Monday that carried the price from 38,000 to above 45,000 early Wednesday. The divergence from struggling stocks didn't last long, though, and Bitcoin's hasty retreat has picked up steam this afternoon. I think that was probably because we had the options expiry. Checking stocks, so the Nasdaq was down obviously today, another 2% on Friday, and the S&P 500 index off 1%. The action obviously was worse in Europe. Germany's DAX shedding 4.4%, France's CAC 40 down 5%, and Italy's stock exchange off more than 6%. So everybody has fears over the war in Ukraine with Russia invading them. Biggest thing is obviously oil. I think oil is contributing. Oil is way up now. So continuing on in the story here, not to be forgotten is the U.S. Federal Reserve, with Chair Jerome Powell on Tuesday worried about the economic impact from the Russia-Ukraine war, nevertheless promising a 25 basis point rate hike later this month. The U.S. Central Bank doesn't need more ammunition for tightening monetary policy, but that gave some anyway in Friday's non-farm payrolls report. The data showed a whopping 678,000 jobs added in February versus expectation of 400,000. So obviously a huge increase there. We also saw in that wages were up as well. So that's kind of contributing to it as well. And then adding to the market pressure Friday was Bloomberg report that Biden administration is considering banning oil imports from Russia. That has helped add to the big oil rally, with WTI crude now higher by 7.1% to $115.35. And obviously, I think the U.S. only imports roughly 3% from Russia, but it's still 3%. So that's obviously going to have an impact on the market as well. Other countries in Europe obviously are importing a lot more from Russia. So if they ban it, they're going to have a hard time as well. Their gasoline prices and diesel prices are going to go up tremendously. So that's a concern there, I think. So hopefully this can get all figured out. Hopefully Russia and Putin can get to their senses, stop the war, and maybe we can go back to being normal. It looks like everything else is going well except for what's going on over there. All right, so let's take a look at Marathon Digital Holdings announcement. So Marathon Digital Holdings announces Bitcoin production and mining operation updates for February 2022. February Bitcoin production increases 729% year over year, and total Bitcoin holdings increased to 8,956 BTC as miners begin to come online at new facilities. So we got a couple graphs here. Don't care about the graphs too much. So they produced only 360.3 self Bitcoin during the February 2022, which was a 729% increase from 43.4 self-mined Bitcoin in February of 2021, so a year-over-year increase. That is pretty good. Increased total Bitcoin holdings to approximately 8,956 BTC with a fair market value of approximately $386.8 million, which is good. Cash on hand was approximately $106.4 million, and total liquidity defined as cash and Bitcoin holdings was approximately $483.2 million, which is good as well. Let's see here. Increased hash rate 8% from the prior month after successful deploying and energizing 2,800 miners in the month of February. They received approximately 7,600 top-tier ASIC miners from Bitmain during the month of February. Obviously, they only installed, a third of that? So that would be a third of those were only installed. Existing mining fleet consists of 35,510 active miners producing approximately 3.8 exahash. So after successfully breaking the mold on deploying behind the meter at scale, deployments are expected to continue to accelerate throughout the rest of 2022. And I hope that's the case, because right now they're not getting those installed fast enough. The company continues to expect its mining operations to be 100% carbon neutral by the end of 2022, which is good news. Let's see here, what else was it? Miner installation and hash rate growth. So in February 2022, Marathon and Compute North received permission to begin energizing miners in new locations. So that was possibly the holdup why they weren't getting the miners installed as much. And then construction of Compute North's new facilities, which are predominantly behind the meter at wind and solar farms, remain underway. These facilities are at multiple locations and include a 280 megawatt site in West Texas. Marathon continues to expect all of its purchased miners to be deployed by early 2023, at which point the company's mining operations are expected to consist of approximately 199,000 Bitcoin miners producing approximately 23.3 exahash. Additionally, the company continues to expect its mining operations to be 100% neutral by the end of the year, which is great, final dandy. But why the decrease in Bitcoins mined during the month? So here's where we get into management commentary. So relative to the prior months of January and December, our February production was impacted by increasing network difficulty. Okay, network difficulty went up a little bit, but it still doesn't account for the big decrease that they did have. Continued fluctuations at the power stations in Montana and voluntary curtailment of our miners in Texas to support the grid during a recent storm. So their numbers are way down from January, and we'll take a look at the numbers here. I don't think there's anything else here. So let's take a look at the numbers that I have for my spreadsheet and take a look at the numbers. So February 360, January they had 462. That is a decrease of 101 less Bitcoins during the month, and it's a 22% decrease over that. In December they had 484 Bitcoins mined, which was obviously in January a decrease of only 4.62, and that was partially possible because of having to shut down the miners because of the cold weather in Texas and other parts of the country. But we obviously saw a huge decrease in November. They had 186 because their power plant was down for maintenance. So they were down 53% from that, but they're still way down from where they should be. And they obviously explained it as hash rate increase, which, okay, will account for a little bit of that. But the other part of it was obviously, I think the cold weather obviously contributed to it as well, where they were having to shut down for an extended amount of time. So if we look at the numbers here, they did say that they added 2,800 miners. So I put those in here. Subtracted it from the remaining miners that still have to be installed. So those are the ones that are remaining here. And we did have them at 20 days. And based on what they mined, Bitcoin mined, the 360, they basically had a 15.5 million value on those. I had to reduce the amount of time that they were operational to 21 days. And the month has 28 days in February. So they were basically shut down for almost a week, not mining because of the cold weather or for other reasons, obviously, as well, power issues at some of the other plants. So that's how I came up with 15.4, which is really close to the 15.5 that would be earned. Also, so these are also mining the 20 days here on average that I put in for the new ones. And they are obviously way behind on the 63,000 from December 2021 that are supposed to be delivered. So those are coming in. These, I'm not sure when these are getting in. Obviously, the January ones, we don't know exactly which tranche is being delivered. And then we obviously still have the July S19 XPs, which are the 140 terahash miners going into the end of the year. So I do have them at right now at 3.87 exahash roughly with 35,510 miners installed. That gets us to possibly making next month, if they were operational the full time with just the miners that they are on, they would get them to 22.2 million roughly with the current price that we have right now on Bitcoin. And I think I have that too high right now. I should update that. Yeah, I got it at 42,000 and we're at, what are we at right now? 38,850 roughly. So let's do that, 38,850. 38,850. All right. So that's going to obviously change. So 20.5 million for the month here. And that, why am I using February? February price went really far down. Why did it go down? Should be using the price of, it's February. Did I change it in March? Let's see here. I think I made a mistake here. Nope, I changed it to March. Why did that change? Oh, something's not acting right here. 15, no, I got it right, 15.4, okay. My mistake, sorry guys. All right, so that's all good. So 20.5 million now, basically the current price where it's at. We're looking at 54 roughly million for the quarter here. I'm sure they're going to get more miners installed in this month, which is March right now. We don't know exactly how many they're going to get installed, but it looks like they have possibly around 5,000 or so ready to get installed. So that'll obviously increase their earnings and hash rate as well. So we'll see how that plays out. Right now, they are obviously at $22.82. I have them at basically these numbers down here, but I'll explain the numbers here. So last three quarters are the prior three periods. So Q4, Q3, and Q2. And then we're including the Q1 from this quarter to get them to 292 million gross revenue on mining. 50% net income from gross revenue would be 96 million. Price to earnings multiple of 20. We're looking at 1874 on the stock price. And if we use the 75% net income of gross revenue with price to earnings multiple of 20, we're looking at 28.11. It looks to me like they are right now at a multiple of around 16 and change multiple right now. But if we use the 20 multiple, they're at 28.11. So they would be a little bit undervalued right now. And based on where they're going, I think they're going to be obviously going much higher in price if Bitcoin obviously reverses trend and they get all the miners installed. Idle position obviously is 8,596. That equates to 347 million right now in Bitcoin value based on this price here, 38,850. Idle market cap ratio is 14.86%. So 14% of their market cap is basically their Bitcoin value, which is kind of high. I would like to see that a little bit lower. Other than that, I think that's it for them. Obviously, they do have a lot of miners to get installed. We'll see how North Compute can get all the miners operational, get buildings up and running, things like that. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. But obviously, not a great start to the year so far, with February being down 101 Bitcoins. They explained it, hash rate and power needs and power plant issues. So we'll see how that plays out going forward. Hopefully they get those resolved and we can have some better months going forward. All right, let's take a look at the next story here on Digihost. So Digihost reported this morning that it establishes a $250 million at the market equity program to accelerate growth. And we'll take a look at some of the numbers here. So Digihost is pleased to announce that it has entered into a at the market offering agreement, the ATM agreement with H.C. Wainwright and Company, the agent. So at the market equity offering program, under which the agent may issue and sell from time to time such number of subordinate voting shares of the company, having an aggregate offering price of up to $250 million. A cash commission of 3% on the aggregate gross proceeds raised under the ATM equity program will be paid to the agent in connection with its services. The company intends to use the net proceeds of the ATM equity program, if any, to support the growth and development of the company's existing mining operations, as well as working capital and general corporate purposes, and to repay outstanding indebtedness from time to time. So obviously this is going to dilute shares for the shareholders. That's why we saw the huge drop in price today on the stock price. Hopefully they do good with this cash. Obviously we want them to increase their hash rate. So let's take a look at the numbers that I have for them, and we'll also do some simulations here really quick. All right, so let's take a look at their numbers. So Digihost, so they're getting 250 million. Their market cap right now is almost 100 million. So they're getting, what is it, 1.5x their market cap. So if they include that into it, their market cap should be now closer to, what is it, 350 million, if they do really good with their numbers. I do have them right now as being 100% fully operational in all of their future hash rate. So they don't have any expansion plans right now. And I think that's why they're getting at the market offering of 250 million, because they do want to grow. And this is one way to do it, obviously. They also don't have a lot of Bitcoin. They only have, last reported, 698. So that's 27 million. So here's some numbers that I just ran. So if they took basically 175 million of that and use it to buy miners, these are, I'm using the latest Intel miners, the second generation, which are supposed to be 135 terahash, but the cost on them is supposed to be pretty good. It's supposed to be half of the Bitmain, I believe, XPs, which are, I believe the XPs are around 11,000. So I'm putting down $5,500 for the Intel miners here. That would give them basically 31, almost 32,000 of those miners. And that would give them basically at 135 terahash per miner, that would get them to basically almost 4.3 exahash additional. And that would be a huge increase, obviously, from what they have right now of 1.1. So what was that, 4.3? So we're looking at basically 5.4 exahash, 5.5 exahash roughly. That would obviously be a huge increase for them. And I think it would also warrant the stock to go up in price. The good thing is, obviously, they don't have a lot of shares out. So it is dilution. Obviously, we're probably going to have, depending on the stock price, when they actually pull the trigger on these at the market offerings, we could get up to maybe closer to 100 million shares. What is that? At current price, if they did it all right now, 250 million, 1, 2, 3, divided by 3.2 we're looking at an additional 78 million shares or so being added to it. So we're looking at 100 million shares right there. And then I took into account also the Antminer S19 XPs. Those are the 140 terahash. They could only buy about 15.9 thousand of those. Those cost about 11,000, like I said. So they would be at 2.2 exahash with those. And then the big question in the room, the hypothetical one, is obviously the new miners that are supposed to be coming out later on this year, which I believe, who's getting those? I think Grid or somebody's getting those. Those are like $30,000 or something like that, but they are 440 terahash. But those would also only get them to about 2.5 exahash. So based on the price of the miners, if they can get the Intels at $5,500 or right around there, those are going to get them the most bang for the buck. Obviously, you're going to need more electricity for those. They're not the most efficient ones. The Antminers S19 XPs are the more efficient ones here. And then the new miner ones, the NM440s, are supposed to be really efficient, but we just don't know yet. We'll have to see once those actually come out. So they could basically install more of those, but they're a heck of a lot more expensive. So I think for the bang for the buck right now would be the $5,500 Intel miners. So yeah, we'll see how this plays out. Obviously, they have a long ways to go. They're 100% already at their future hash rate, so they got no place else to go but up. And we'll see what they buy, what do they do with the cash, how are they going to grow it. But I think it's the only way they can do it. If they even sold their Bitcoins right now, 27 million, they wouldn't be getting that many miners. That would increase their hash rate by maybe 750 exahash or something like that, depending on the miners they get. I would have to look into it exactly. But all in all, I think it's okay. I don't think it's bad. Obviously, it's diluting shares, yes, but they have to grow in order to keep up or they're going to get left behind. And we know that obviously the hash rate is continuing to increase. So if they're not increasing their miners and their hash rate, their income is going to, gradually fall from month to month as the hash rate increases. So they have to do that in order to stay relevant, I think. So that's my 2 cents. Let me know what you guys thought of this. Obviously, let me know your 2 cents on it as well in the comments down below. As always, my spreadsheets are available to my Patreon members. I update those whenever I update, whenever I do videos, whenever I update them, they get updated and posted there. And looking to maybe add some other things for Patreon members as well that will, provide value there. Other than that, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. That's all I ask from you guys. I'll probably do the video tomorrow on miners versus Bitcoin, see how they did during the week. I thought it was going to be a great week, but it turned out to be another down week, it looks like. So we'll see how that plays out tomorrow. And I'm still working on the next miner that I'm doing. So we'll get that finished up hopefully this weekend, if not early into next week. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great night. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, bye.